Today we're going to look at 4 extremely common LaTeX mistakes. You'll find them in thesis, journal articles, large YouTube channels, even in technical documents from major companies. Fixing these small details won't just improve your document, it will move you from a regular LaTeX user into someone really focused on typographic precision. So let's start with mistake number 1. This is an explanation of mechanical failure theories by the YouTube channel The Efficient Engineer. Here, shear stress is written as tau with 2 subscripts, x and y, where x represents the normal plane and y represents the force direction. That notation makes sense because x and y are variables, they describe directions. Now look at the normal stress written as sigma AVG. How should we interpret AVG? Since it follows the same typographical convention as the shear stress, it could mean 3 directions, A, V, and G, or even the multiplication of 3 variables, A times V times G. Of course, that is not the intention. AVG stands for average. But visually, LaTeX doesn't know that. And this happens because we treat the word average exactly like we treat variables. When we place it inside the subscript brackets in math mode, LaTeX automatically interprets each letter as an independent variable, and variables are rendered in italics. So mistake number 1 is treating words typographically indistinguishable from variables. This is extremely common. Here is another example. Euler's buckling formula written as PCR, where CR stands for critical. Again, both letters appear in italics, so it looks like the product of 2 variables, C times R. You can find this across many technical videos, even in large educational channels like Welch Labs or Veritasium, where full words inside subscripts are rendered in italics. So how do we fix it? The principle is very easy. Variables stay in italics, words do not. If a subscript or superscript represents a full word, such as average, minimum, maximum, critical, it should be typeset as text inside math mode. That way, we clearly signal that we are referring to a word, not to multiplied variables. With this small change, your equations immediately become clear and precise. Now, let's move on to mistake number 2. Here we have an equation describing harmonic motion. Focus on the argument of the sine function. Take a close look at the parentheses. Compare their size to the expression inside, especially to the square root term. You can immediately see the problem. The parentheses are much smaller than the expression they are supposed to enclose. This creates a typographical inconsistency. So mistake number 2 is using regular parentheses in math mode. By default, LaTeX does not automatically adjust their size to match taller elements like fractions, roots, or large sums. The solution is simple. Whenever an expression inside parentheses contains tall elements such as square roots, fractions, or integrals, you should use the left and right commands. This ensures that LaTeX automatically scales the parentheses to the correct height, perfectly matching the content inside. It's a small detail, but it makes your equations look balanced, intentional, and professionally typeset. Fixing these mistakes is simple, but producing truly publication quality figures, clean, balanced, and professionally designed is a different level. So if you're a master's student working on your thesis or a researcher working on your next publication, I've got you covered. Because I've created a collection of 80 professional LaTeX figure templates. They are fully parameterized, easy to customize, and built with carefully selected professional color combinations. If you would like to save time and elevate the visual quality of your documents, you'll find a link below. Now let's continue with the next mistake. Mistake number 3 is just as common as the first 2. To illustrate it, let's look at one of the most influential papers in modern machine learning. Attention is all you need. If you examine the equations carefully, you'll notice something interesting. Look at the sine and cosine terms in the positional encoding formula. They are written in italics. Typographically, that means LaTeX is treating them as individual variables, as if S, I, and N are multiplied together. But sine and cosine are not variables, they are mathematical functions. And common mathematical functions in LaTeX have dedicated commands. So mistake number 3 is writing common mathematical functions such as sine, cosine, logarithm, exponential, minimum, maximum as plain letters instead of using their proper LaTeX commands. When written properly, they appear in upright text, clearly distinguished from variables. Visually, the difference may be small, but semantically, it matters. As a small bonus observation, notice the subscripts in the same equation. Some follow the correct upright formatting of words, while others, such as pause for position, are written in italics. That inconsistency is subtle, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now let's move on to the final mistake. Take a close look at this sentence and focus on the quotation marks. Do you notice something? The same quotation mark is used for both opening and closing the expression. In other words, the right quotation mark is being used twice, once to open and once to close. Here's another example. The exact same thing happens again. The closing quotation mark is also being used as the opening one. This is a very common mistake, especially for people used to writing in Microsoft Word. In Word, quotation marks are inserted automatically with this key, so you don't really think about left and right quotation symbols. So mistake number 4 is not using the proper LaTeX commands for opening and closing quotations. In LaTeX, the command for left quotation mark is different than the right quotation mark. They are not interchangeable. It may feel slightly unusual at first, but doing so ensures that your typography is correct and consistent. Congratulations! If you made it this far, you now know how to avoid the 4 most common typographical mistakes in LaTeX. Feel free to share, subscribe, and like if you find this useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.